Hello, besties. Welcome back to the Single Besties podcast. It is me, Montana Duran. Sorry to keep you waiting for 2 weeks. I had every intention of recording an episode when I was in Europe, but then I just was having too much fun. So I could not just stop and do an episode. So we are going to finish the other 15 lessons that I learned before 30, and then we are going to do a separate episode on the Europe recap and judging the French dating apps versus American dating apps. That will be its own episode. So hello besties, how are we doing? How are we feeling? I am officially 30 now. So basically I am older, wiser, and hotter. When I was in Paris, someone told me that I looked like it was a cute little girl. I was buying my perfume, and she was like, "Oh my God, I thought you were 24." And I was like, the Botox is working. Thank God. Okay, so the craziest thing happened. So I did turn 30 while I was away in these past 2 weeks. And I thought that I was just going to be like, have the answers to my life. And guess what, guys? You don't get the answers. Like, nothing changes. It's literally just another day. So, like, just take that from me. It's just another freaking day. So you don't know. So, I did learn a lot. Like, I still feel like I'm processing a lot. So I feel like even these 15 lessons I'm about to share, there's so many more lessons that I could share. Yeah, so I feel like I'm going to be reflecting on this for a while because I think it kind of did change everything. Like I don't know what I'm going to do in these next 6 months, but get ready for the journey because I'm going to of course bring you guys along the journey. So, let's get started with these last 15 lessons I learned before 30 that I hope can inspire you guys to kind of let some ish go before you turn 30. Like, let it go. Let it go. Stop caring so much. Number 16, not everyone is for you. And this one kind of sucks. Not everyone is for you. So learn to let go of people that don't align with your values or your energy. And honestly, things can change. Like, the person that you were 6 months ago can change to the person you are now. And that's why I think it's very important to always, like every few months, check your circle, check your values, check the people that you're surrounding yourself with, because you got to do that inventory. Because I'm telling you, one time in my 20s, I was stressed out. I was breaking out. I was having the worst kind of breakouts in my life. I cut a friend off, my skin got clear. She was stressing me out. She was stressing me out a little bit. She wasn't aligning with me, and I have a hard time with, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people relate to this. Like, I love people and I want to love every single person and I want to love every single person forever. So I have a hard time letting go of when people aren't when things aren't aligning. But it's more detrimental to hold on to things that aren't serving you than to let go of things that aren't serving you. It makes space for the right people to come into your life. And just because someone's leaving your life doesn't mean that the impact that they made on your life when they were in it, that doesn't take it away. And that doesn't mean you don't love them. It just means, like, not everyone gets that direct access to you like they did before. And that's okay. Number two, this is something that I'm still learning right now, that your path can change. Life rarely goes according to plan, and that's okay. The detours often lead to the best destinations. Truly, like, after this trip, I'm really reevaluating my whole path and what I want, what I thought my path was, and where I see my path going for the rest of this year. Like, you would have told me, like, I've been so LA for the past 3 years, but I genuinely think, like, my lease is ending soon. I really think that I'm being called to, like, travel for these next, like, 6-8 months and go see more and explore more and expand more. And that's because I'm open to it. Your path can change. I've always been open to paths changing. Like, before, I was so Atlanta. You would have never told me that I would have left it in Atlanta. Then I left Atlanta. Now I'm in LA, and you would have never told me that I'm going to leave LA. Now I'm really feeling a stirring of, like, maybe leaving LA. And that's okay. To be open to that is such an adventure and it's been the wildest journey, and it's opened my life and filled my life in so many ways, and it's been beautiful. And you just have to be open that your path can change. And my favorite quote ever is, like, you want to hear God laugh, tell him your plan. Because man makes plans, God laughs, because life happens so fast and life changes so quick, and things can happen and change overnight. Your whole world can be changed overnight. And You have to be open that your path can change, and don't be so just hold on to one path, because trust me, if I was just holding on so tightly to one path, I would have never opened up my world would have never opened up and became this beautiful life that I have now. Number 3, you don't have to explain yourself. Not everyone is going to understand your choices. Like, you don't have to explain yourself. The only person that has to answer for your life at the end of the day, when all is said and done, when we die, when we go, answer for our lives, the only person that is going to have to stand there and answer for it is you. So that is the only person that has to understand what you're doing. Your parents don't have to understand it. Your friends don't have to understand it. If it makes sense to you, you're the only person that's going to have to answer for those. So don't live your life for other people. Number 4, your intuition knows before you do. Trust your intuition. That is one thing that I wish I would have done more in my 20s, was trusted my freaking gut. And relationships, in friendships, in business, and work, trust your freaking gut. Your gut always knows. Your intuition, that feeling that something's not right, that feeling never lies. And question people that make you question your gut, because the people in my life, like, let me just give you a situation. I had a feeling my ex was on some funny stuff. He was on some funny business. I had a feeling. And so I brought it up. And I was always called crazy and my gut was wrong. Turns out I was right all along. Hey guys, plot twist, I was right all along. So don't question your gut. Question the people that make you question your gut. You're welcome. Time doesn't equal value. Just because something lasted a long time doesn't mean that it was good for you. Or just because something lasted a short time doesn't mean it wasn't that meaningful. I think a lot of times we hold on to like relationships and friendships because we've spent so much time, we've invested so much time, we don't want to waste time. Just because you've invested a lot of time into maybe a job or a relationship or a friendship doesn't mean that you owe it to keep going, and to, if something's over, it's over. If you've worked at a job for 5 years but you're freaking miserable going to that job every year, loyalty doesn't pay in a job. Let me just tell y'all that. Loyalty in a job does not pay. It doesn't make you, no, it just makes you get walked all over. And the same kind of is true sometimes in friendships and relationships, that just because you've been friends with someone for a long time, sometimes you have to have those conversations of, hey, I'm not getting a lot out of this friendship, or hey, I gotta bow out of something, or hey, I gotta. Time doesn't equal loyalty, doesn't mean it was, because just the same as I've had friends I've known for 15 years and friends I've known for maybe 3 months that I met out here that are very, very deep and meaningful friendships. And the same as I value those, the same as the friendships that I've had for a long time too. So time does not equal value. Number 6, confidence comes through actions, not just thought. The more you show up for yourself, the more you believe in yourself. So you can talk about wanting to do something, talk, but you got to start putting in that action. And through action is how confidence is built, actually. Like, confidence is built through doing the things you say you're going to do, keeping those promises that you say you're going to do, keeping the promises that you make to yourself. That is how confidence is built, through keeping your word, not just to other people, but to yourself first. Number 7, this is a huge one that I learned in my 20s, because I feel like I spent a whole lot of my 20s in burnout. And here's the thing, I turned 30. I've been 30 for less than a week. I fired a client. Because here's the thing, I spent my whole 20s being burnt out. I spent my whole last 29 being talked to like garbage by a client, and putting up with the worst, because I thought like I needed this. I needed this. I was so worried, so worried, so worried. No, no, no. So plot twist. Um, I spent my whole 20s being burnt out, and I refused to carry that energy into my 30s, because everything worked out. I was just a more burnt out version of myself, a more miserable version of myself. I'm so much more fun when I'm not burnt out. And so my worth is not just defined by my productivity. The thing about it is I literally took this vacation and was like kind of scared. I grinded so hard to get 2 weeks ahead for all my clients. I was still doing a little bit of work every day, like a couple hours, because I work for myself and things had to get done. So like because here's the thing, if I just go ghost for a week and a half, I'm going to come back and not have any money or any clients. So I had to do a couple hours worth of work every day, but I let myself go on vacation and have fun and go on this solo trip. I got a client while I was on vacation because sometimes rest is just as productive as grinding. I allowed myself to go be free, have fun, explore, and I got another client while I was gone. So that's just how God works. Change is uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Growth comes after like some of the most unsettling transitions. I feel like right now I'm in a growing season and growth is uncomfortable. It's called growing pains. No one likes it. It doesn't feel good. You feel like you're stretching. Remember when you were growing in school, you literally got hurt, like you got physical pains from growing. That's the same for growing in your life and growing in your business or growing in your relationships. Like growth is uncomfortable, but it's necessary because I am nowhere near the person I was when I started my 20s, but I don't, and I can't wait to see where I'm going to be at the end of this decade because I'm loving the version of myself that I'm meeting. You are allowed to, number 10, you are allowed to outgrow places, people, and even past versions of yourself. It's kind of the same with like change. Like, I am not the same person I was 2 weeks ago. I know that's like so cringe because it's like she goes to Europe once, comes back changed, but it's true. You're allowed to outgrow past versions of yourself. You're allowed to change the way you think. You're allowed to change what you believe. You're allowed to change parts of yourself. And it's honestly what we're supposed to do because how boring is it to be the same person you were 10 years ago? How freaking boring. That's actually sad. It literally makes me really sad. You're allowed to change. Number 11, joy comes from the present moment. The more you focus on now, the more fulfilling your life feels. That's something that the trip taught me. Like, I was so in the moment. I was soaking it all in. I was in the moment. And it's like literally my job is content creation and for other people. And like, I couldn't even pull out my phone. Sometimes, like, I'm kind of mad that I don't have that much content, but I have enough. But I was letting myself just be in the moment and soak it all in. And it was so joyful. And talking to strangers on the street and meeting people, having conversations at restaurants and at the airport, just like being in the moment is so freeing. Like, I love my phone. My phone pays my bills. My phone is everything. I love it. But put your freaking phone down. Like, be in the moment sometimes. Like, that is the biggest lesson that I want to have more moments in my 30s that I forget I even have a phone, because those are the best moments where you're just truly in the moment, soaking in life, like being where you are, planting your feet on the ground, like not worried about everybody else, where everyone else is at, like what everyone else has got going on, what's going on in the other side of the world. Like just being where you are with who you're there with is just it's such a beautiful feeling. Being alone doesn't mean that you're lonely. That is I think a lot of people, what I learned on this solo trip, like people were telling me, like they were like, I could never do that. I think people are scared to be alone. I love myself. I love being alone. I am a freaking vibe. I can have fun. I could talk to the wall. Don't be scared to be alone. Get to know yourself. Like get to know yourself on a deep, intimate level. You want a man to get to know you, but do you even know yourself? Do you? What do you like? What do you not like? What are your hobbies? Like, think about that. Like, you want a man to know you so well, so intimate, know what you're thinking before you're even thinking it. But do you know yourself? Could you spend 3 days alone with yourself on a trip? Could you? Could you? And if the answer is no, why? Like, what are you scared of? What is it? What scares you about yourself? Like, ask yourself those hard questions. Like, get to know yourself because if you don't know yourself, how are you? gonna expect someone else to know you and love you in a way that you can't even express that for yourself. And that's something that there were times in my 20s when I did not love myself or couldn't sit alone with myself. I couldn't be alone for 20 minutes because I couldn't deal with the voices in the head. But I worked on it, and I now I love being with. I'm my best freaking friend. I'm a freaking vibe. I like low key prefer to be alone. I have great friends, don't get me wrong, but I could be alone for a long time. Number 13, you can't pour from an empty cup. Taking care of yourself first isn't selfish, it's necessary. It kind of comes with the burnout thing. Genuinely, I spent a whole lot of time in my 20s burnt the freak out, and that is something I am actively pursuing in my 30s, is to not live in a constant state of burnout. It's not fun, it's not cute, it's not hot. It's we glamorize work, grind. No, we should glamorize like taking care of ourselves. Like, when's the last time you like genuinely like took care of yourself? Like, sometimes I would feel bad for even like sleeping in on the weekends, or, like I would feel so bad for things that were taking care of myself when I was in those burnout sessions. I'm like, oh God, I still have so much work to do. No, like, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot give. I have been feeling so creative and so good about like the future of where all of this is going since I came back, because I took a step back to really like breathe and pour into my cup, because my cup was getting empty and now my cup is full, and so I'm ready to pour out creativity, pour out fresh ideas, pour out new things on people. So I'm excited. Number 14, rejection is redirection. Rejection is always protection, and rejection is always redirection. I don't know, we take it as, oh my God, it's always a setback. No, it's making room for what is for you. It's making room for a yes. And every no is one step closer to a yes. And the more you get comfortable with rejection, the more success you're going to have. It doesn't make sense, but the more no's you hear, the closer you get to hearing a yes. It comes with dating, it comes with life, it comes with business. The more, and I know it sucks because no one wants to like go on a bunch of dates and like it not work out, but every no is one step closer to a yes. I'm telling you, you get comfortable with rejection. If you want to be successful in relationships, in life, in business, in anything, get comfortable with hearing no. It has nothing to do with you. The confidence to hear a no and keep going. To hear a no and keep going is such a confidence building exercise, because a lot of people hear no and then that just like ruins their whole life, and they just shut down, and it makes them feel less than, and and trust me, there have been times where I've been rejected and it does like put me in a setback. But now that I have realized, like, oh no, every no is just one step closer to a yes. Every no is that wasn't for me. I don't want what's not for me. So if it's a no for me, dog, it's a no for me, dog. The final lesson of my 20s going into my 30s, which I want to have this energy. We're having cozy energy today because, like I said, I got so sick when I came back home. I have lost 12 pounds. I know you can't tell because I'm in this oversized hoodie, but I'm a bit unwell. You are the main character of your life. You have one life, besties. You have one freaking life. And you better be the main freaking character of that life. You better be doing all the main character things you want to do, because it's your life. And especially while you're single, you're never going to get this time back. So you might as well do what you want and live for you. And sometimes do it for the freaking plot. Sometimes you do have to just book a flight to Europe for the plot. Like Allie said, put it on a credit card, pay it off later. This is not a Dave Ramsey podcast. Okay? You are the main character of your life. What would the main character do? What when you're watching a show and you see the main character, like what does she do? What does the main character of your show do? You got to start acting like it. Romanticize your life. Especially while you're single. We are never going to get this time back. I kept thinking, I was like, it was a random Monday. I'm going to like, this is the last thing I'll say about the trip, because then I'm going to do a trip recap. It was a random Monday and it was like in Amsterdam. And I was just walking the river, like walking along the river. I said a river, I don't know. I think it's a dam, like literally Amsterdam. Is it a dam? I don't know. I don't know about geography. However, I was walking around and there was water and there was a bridge. And I was like, you know what? One day I'm going to be, it was a Monday. And I was like, one day I am going to be rushing around my house, getting my kid ready for soccer practice, making sure everyone has lunch, rushing out the house. But today, I am walking around Amsterdam on a Monday and it's peaceful vibes. And I'm going to miss this time. And I'm going to want and I'm going to yearn for this time. Like what you desire desires you too, and it's coming. It's just a matter of time. So enjoy this time. Be the main character of your life while you freaking can, before you have all these supporting actors that are trying to, get some baba from you and be you have to be their mommy. Like, you are the main character right now. Like, in a few phases of life, you're going to be the supporting, because you're going to have the children that are the main character. So for right now, be the main character of your life. Okay, besties? I love you. I mean it. Bye.